Delta and Safaris. Will join us Blessing Lechane, is director of these properties in Botswana. Okay, and Blessing, thank you very much for joining us in this morning in Brazil, in the afternoon in your side. And please, will you continue with your presentation, please?
Thank you very much, Daniel, and everyone on board. I can see some of the lovely faces and some I cannot see, but I very much am glad to really have been invited to come and sort of present regarding our product. It's always lovely to have such moments where we get some lovely intimate time to take you through the product as it is. So just like Daniel has said, my name is Blessing Lechane, and I am with the Sales and Marketing Department of Desert and Delta Safaris. That is a company which is 100% Botswana owned, and it is under a holding company, which is the only holding company listed under the Botswana Stock Exchange as the only tourism entity. So that just means that we have our roots really deeply rooted into the Botswana culture, the Botswana economy from a social corporate responsibility perspective. I'm gonna quickly share my screen with you, and you should be able to see the presentation that I have. There we go. Okay. Please confirm you are seeing a presentation.
No, because you continue to, okay, right now it's okay.
Okay, fantastic. Great. So I'm just using two screens and the presentation is on the other screen. So please bear with me when I turn my neck on the other side.
I know. Okay.
Fantastic. Great.
Thank you.
I always like to start with the map. I'm not sure if I'm the only person who loves working with maps, but they really do some justice in terms of knowing the destinations themselves. Now, just to give you a little bit of a background, like I said, Desert and Delta Safaris is a lodge operator that operates 10 properties in Botswana. For now, and like I said, when I started, we are under a holding company which is called Chobe Holdings Limited, and under that Chobe Holdings Limited we have other companies like Karen Downey Botswana, which is our sister company and does more of 5-star products or 5-star lodging luxury operator, and we do a 4-star product. And then we also have under the same brand a company called Safari, which runs all of our lodge-to-lodge transfers. We, as Botswana, mostly we do what we call fly-in safaris into the different lodges and camps in Botswana or hotels in Botswana because of the remoteness of the places where these lodges are. So we do own our own light aircraft company that does all of those movements. Now, going back to the map, just to give you a little bit of a perspective from a region perspective and how to position Botswana in Africa or in Southern Africa. Sometimes it's quite a challenge to really know where Botswana is, where South Africa is, and boundaries and all that. So with my presentation this morning and afternoon where I am, I'm just going to focus on the combination from combining with many other countries like your South Africa. So starting exactly with that
Blessing,
combination aspect. Yes.
Just before you start, I just entered here. Sorry for interrupting you.
Okay.
I need to know where is your Palmeiras shirt, because I thought you were working in gala today, not normally.
So unfortunately, it's not a Friday. I was definitely going to wait if it was a Friday, but I thought as well maybe there are some who don't support Palmeiras.
Well, Rodrigo loves Palmeiras shirt.
I know. I'll definitely wait. I'll definitely wait. I saw the other match where Palmeiras won the other day, by the way. I follow every single match.
Okay, sorry for interrupting everyone. Good presentation. I'm moving back to the office now, so I'll be back in 15 to 20 minutes online. Sorry for that.
Thanks, Fabiana.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Palmeiras, by the way. Right, going back to the map, to the presentation, if you see right at the bottom here where there is this dark map here, this is the lovely map of Botswana. And this little rectangular box at the top of the Botswana map there, or if you could say on the northern part of Botswana, this is where the traditional safaris are done in Botswana. And this is also where we own and operate all of our hotels and lodges in this area here. It's called the Northern Botswana. Now, on the northern part of Botswana there, it is Zambia, and then on the western side you have Zimbabwe, on the eastern side you have Namibia, and then on the southern side of Botswana you have South Africa. So from a combination or from a region point of view, Botswana is sort of like, you know, located right in the middle of 4 different countries that also do provide safari, just like, you know, South Africa. I know quite a lot of Brazilians. They love Cape Town because of, you know, quite a lot of things that can happen there in the Kruger as well as the beach part of it, and of course shopping. A lot of Brazilian friends would really love shopping like I do. So Cape Town is quite a very good option to go there. And now, from a combination perspective, Botswana combines quite very well and easily with South Africa, with Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Zambia. Because in between these 4 countries, within a day, we have more than 18 different connections on a daily basis that are coming in and out of the country into Johannesburg and also Cape Town, as well as the Namibian side and Zimbabwe as well. So from a connection perspective, from an air access, Botswana is really strategically located where you can come into Botswana and out of Botswana without any challenges. And again, like I said, you know, a safari experience in Africa, most of the times when travelers come, really, they always love to do a little bit of South Africa and then another country, maybe Botswana or maybe Kenya or Tanzania, or sometimes when they're coming for the second time, they really like to add in a bit of Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and so forth. So I just wanted to position this in you that from a combination perspective, Botswana combines very lovely with all of these other countries that are there. Now, coming right into Botswana, like I said, there are many accesses. We have 2 main international airports from a tourism perspective in the northern Botswana. The first one is Maung International Airport, which is just a stone throw away from where I am. And then the second one is in Chobe Kasane International Airport. So there are daily flights coming from specifically Cape Town and Johannesburg every single day, coming down and out of these 2. Right now, Botswana as a destination, I've always said it's more like, you know, Brazil. I've had the privilege to travel to Brazil twice so far. I've went to there's like 4 or 5 different specific regions in Brazil, and I've traveled all the way up to Goiânia. I've done a bit of Rio, and then of course Sao Paulo, Belo Horizonte, Porto Alegre. So you find that there's different regions there, and of course the Amazon, which is right there. And these are different regions that when someone wants to really experience a lovely comprehensive circuit of Brazil, they cannot go to Rio and say, I've enjoyed Brazil. They need to go 2, 3 different regions. And that is exactly how Botswana is. Unlike many other African countries that provide a traditional African safari or traditional safari, Botswana is a multi-regional destination. We do not only have one or two destinations where your clients, your travelers, they can come to stay and enjoy those two regions and say, we have enjoyed Botswana. In Botswana, as you can see in this map here, we have more than 7, actually arguable 8 prime wildlife or safari destinations or regions in Botswana. And these regions, they offer quite very distinct and unique experiences that are quite different from the experience that you will get from one region to the next. For example, in Rio, there's sort of like that beach life, you know, there's lovely beach experiences that you get there. But when you go to the Amazon or when you go to Porto Alegre, there's something that you can do there, and not necessarily that has to, you know, do with the beach, but you enjoy it. And that contrast and the difference, you know, in experiencing those activities in one country is quite provides, you know, a tick box for travelers. And that is exactly how it happens with Botswana. Now, coming into these different regions here, I'm going to specifically dive into the unique selling points or what really makes every region very special for your travelers or for our travelers. And it's often that a lot of travelers, when they come to Botswana sometimes, if they do not necessarily have the product knowledge, but thank goodness we are doing this, sometimes they say, we just want to do a safari, and it's up to us how we curate the safari. Or unless if they have heard from their friends who traveled or they have seen it on Instagram or on socials, then they say, you know what, we want to go to Botswana to go and see the highest concentration of elephants. This is where we come in now as the experts of the destination and say, great, this is where you can find the elephants, the highest concentration of elephants. If you are a very big game enthusiast, then we say, great, this is the region or the area where you know that you are going to be totally immersed into wildlife exposure. That is the beauty of Botswana as a destination. Now, the unique selling points and what really makes these different regions very special, it will also communicate to the unique selling points of our lodges and hotels that are in each particular region. So I'm just going to start with one region. I go to the next and to the next, and then I come back and then I say, these are the properties we have and how different are these properties and why should you book your travelers with a safari on a Desert and Delta Safaris hotel. Now, firstly, I always like to start with Chobe, which is on the most northern part of the northern Botswana. And the Chobe, I'm sure it is a region that is not very it's quite very familiar. A lot of people are quite familiar with it because in that region, maybe you have heard that this is the only quadrant where 4 different countries meet in the world. That is where Chobe is. And that region there, it is seated on what we call the Chobe Riverfront. And the Chobe Riverfront is one of the perennial water rivers or the perennial water sources that get its water from the Angolan highlands. You know, in Botswana, we don't receive much rains, but we get the rains from Angola, and then they come all the way through, it changes names as soon as it gets to Chobe in Botswana, in Kasane, it becomes the Chobe River. It's perennial. But the beauty about this region here is that it provides an all year round water-based activities because the river is perennial. And secondly, what really makes this region very special is the fact that it allows your guests who want to see thousands and thousands of elephants to tick that box of the elephants. This is where we have the highest concentration of elephants in the world. I remember I was listening to our president last night. The last census, he said 141,000. We have always known of 130, 35. Now it's on 141,000 elephants in the Chobe, in Botswana. However, you would find that 9% out of 10, 99 out of 10% of these 141,000, they are found in the Chobe region on the Chobe riverfront. That is where we have 2 of our lodges are located. This activity here, Ligia, it's one of the activities that when you go there and if you find these alleys, often I always say to you, you always often see these alleys, swimming across from the Botswana side to the Namibian side, because on the Botswana side, it is a national park, but on the Namibian side, it is a communal land. So there's a lot of grass for grazing. They go for grazing there, and then in the evening, they swim across coming back. And this photograph was taken from a boat, and also on the floodplains of the same region on the Chobe riverfront is a lot of different other game that comes to the only water source. That is actually one of the most special thing about Chobe spectacular sightings, is that they depend on one source of water, which is the Chobe River. So all of them, they flood in that area. Right. So I'll come back to the lodges. I just want to touch the regions first at the moment. And then, so we have 2 lodges there, Chobe Savannah, which is on the Namibian side, but facing the Chobe River, the National Park, and Chobe Game Lodge. And then we have another region, which is called Savute. Savute is a region which is really, really, really close to my heart, because I am one person that when I go on a safari, I really want to be totally immersed into proper wildlife experiences. And now, for your travelers who say, we want to see wildlife in Botswana and we want to tick that box, I've always said that think nowhere else. If there is space in that lodge that we have there, book them in Savute, because Savute is one of Botswana's top wildlife hotspots. Actually, I think it's second to none in Botswana. It's really incredible. The amount of predator prey and interaction that happens there, it's the next level. I just wanted to show you something right here. Right. There is about a couple of documentaries that were filmed in Savute, and those in Botswana actually. There are about 5 of them that were filmed, and 4 out of 5 of those documentaries that you see on National Geographic, they've been filmed in one region called Savute. One of them is the Africa's giant killers, the Africa's fishing leopard, the giant killers, the savage kingdoms. It's like I said, that region is a hotspot. It's really buzzing there with wildlife, because it's sort of like dry and it's kind of like elevated. All the wildlife that are on the northern Botswana, they do what we call a migration, and they find themselves in Savute as a central place there. And when they come to Savute, they realize that there are some wildlife like your lions, most of the big cats, your cheetahs, your leopards that are territorial. So when they come to that area, you find them really in the next level of action. The predator and prey interaction is the next level in that region. So that is really why it's the region that is so close to my heart. Part of the sightings that you can see there, one of the most notorious and very big pride of lions found in Botswana, it is found in Savute. You get up to like 35 to 40 lions in one pride, which is in groups and all that. And the white dog sightings as well, they are quite very common in the area. And the African the giants, Africa's giants as well, the elephants, because remember, most of them, they're coming also from where they are highly concentrated in Chobe. They're coming down to Savute, and this is why you find a lot of wildlife. Like I said, this is the hotspot. You find almost a lot of really good wildlife there, outside, of course, those kind of wildlife or animals that can survive in water areas, like in aquatic places. So that would be the region called Savute. Now, going down to the other region. So this is the second region. Going to the other region is called the Kwai. This is a very new region to us. We have taken over a property which used to be under Belmont Safaris. I'm sure you might know Belmont. It formerly was called the Kwai River Lodge, and now we've renamed it to Sidiba Saruna. And Sidiba Saruna means a water fountain, or where it all really begins. And that lodge, it was one of the first photographic lodges to be built in Botswana back in the 60s, when the photographic safari, it made its open doors into the Botswana tourism industry. So that there is quite very new to us, and we are opening that property in March next year. And from an experiential point of view, what really makes that region very, very special is that it provides a combination of, or a blend of, water and land-based activities. And this is often very common of a lot of travelers, because they sometimes do not have the time or the budget to travel for 10 nights. They say, you know what, we just want to do a maximum of 5 nights or 6 nights. However, we want to see almost everything. So they can stay in this property and they get that opportunity to do both water-based activities, which is your traditional canoes, and your game drives, as well as the boating activities and guided bushwalks as well in that concession there. Now, the beauty of that place there is that the concession where it's located is located in a community concession, and we are allowed to off-drive. I know in Botswana, you know that the concessions, especially the national parks and game reserves, we are not allowed to off-drive. But in this concession here, there is night drives, there's off-riding, among other activities that we experience. We are very excited because it's going to be at the next level of luxury in this area, and we are coming in as heavyweights of the tourism industry to sort of change the game in the Kwai concession there. Located in one of the most iconic river settings in the Kwai River, really facing the Kwai River, and that's the main area of the hotel. But I will come back when I'm going into the USPs of the camps. Now, when we talk about the Okavango Delta in Botswana, which almost everyone knows, when someone says I want to go on a safari in Botswana, they want to come to the Okavango Delta. Now, the Okavango Delta is one of the World UNESCO World Heritage Sites, 1000th. It is a catchment area. Everyone wants to come there. Now, the Okavango Delta is quite a very huge inland delta. It is the biggest inland delta in the world. And there is what I always refer to as the greater traditional Okavango Delta, which consists of the northern delta, the central delta, or the heart of the delta, and the southern part of the delta. So this property called Sidiba in Kwai, with these properties in Moremi, Okavango Delta, and the Panhandle there, they are located in the Okavango Delta. Now, the importance of that is all of our 6 properties that are in that area, they are located in permanent water-based areas. And that is quite very key, especially if you have travelers who want to be immersed in authentic water-based activities. It's always important to know if what is the seasonality in terms of the water levels for them to experience the boating and the mokoro activities or the water-based activities. Now, the good thing is when you book a desert and delta safaris portfolio for any of the properties in the Okavango Delta, if you forget to ask about the water, it's okay. You can get away with it because all of our properties, they have 365 water-based activities per year. They are all located in permanent water-based areas. So when your travelers come, they know that they're going to really enjoy both a blend of land and water-based activities. And secondly, which is quite very key, like I say, if maybe you have Juliana and Danielle, they want to come and then they sort of experience both the land and the water-based, but they say we want to do only 3 hotels. They can go to any of the these 3 hotels that are located in the Okavango Delta, and they do a combination of both, I mean a blend of both land and water-based activities, which is quite really lovely to do as a traveler. So that would be the second thing. Now, then the Okavango Delta, we then further subdivided it into 3 different regions as well. The first region is on the northern part of the Okavango Delta, where the water comes from the Angolan highlands through Namibia from Angola. It's called the Panhandle, right at the top there. And then we have the second region here is called the Okavango Delta, or you can call it the heart of the Okavango Delta. And then the last region would be called on the southern edge of the Moremi Game Reserve. It is a region called Moremi Game Reserve, because the experiences that you get in the Greater Okavango Delta, they are quite very unique and very different and very rewarding. And this is why we want to segment them so that you can understand what activities are done in this particular region and so forth. Now, I'll start with the region that I also really love. It is, if I were to put it on number on the line, I'll say it is number 2 to Savute. That is another place where you really get very, very rewarding wildlife experiences from a sighting perspective in that region. But what's unique with Moremi as a region is that it was the first game reserve that was established back in the 60s by the people, by the community, and not by the government. Talk of your Chobe, of your Makarikari, and many other Central Kalahari game reserves in Botswana. All of these are national parks that were set aside by the government. But this one specifically, it was first set aside by the community because it was a communal area back in the days where they then decided, because they felt like there was a lot of wildlife that was dying and they wanted to be involved in conservation. And then they set a certain 1,000 square kilometers for that. And that was like a pioneer of the photographic tourism in Botswana at the time. It just covers about 4,900 square kilometers, and the beauty of Moremi Game Reserve, like I said, is located in the Okavango Delta, but on the southwest, on the southern side of the Okavango Delta. That means there is a dry side of the Moremi Game Reserve, and also the lush and the green water side of the Moremi Game Reserve. This is why you can do boating activities all year round in that area there. This photo I'm showing you on the screen here, it is the most driest part of the Moremi Game Reserve that you can find. And we do have activities in that area all year round, water-based activities all year round, as well as also the the land-based activities, that is your game drives. One of the activities is the boating safari, where you can see aquatic wildlife as well as incredible birds in the area if your travelers, they are birders. One of the areas as well that is quite very rich when it comes to cats. There's a lot of cats in the area. And of course, remember, we have the highest number of elephants. You sort of like get an elephant anywhere in Botswana. It's amazing. And then buffaloes as well. I was actually there in this region less than 2 weeks ago. Promise you, we saw more than 5,000 buffalo heads. It was insane. Something that I've never seen in my life. And when you see it for the first time, so many buffaloes, you ask yourself, where did they pop out of? You know, they just have that, you know, that feeling. You just get that feeling of fulfillment when you come across such a sighting. Right, and then the heart of the Okavango Delta. What's special or what's unique about this region called the Okavango Delta, or the heart of the Okavango Delta? It is the fact that it really promises your travelers what I usually refer to as an exclusive Botswana safari. When you go to Chobe, when you go to Moremi Game Reserve or any other regions, you might, you know, really not get the exclusivity that you get when you are you have your clients staying in these two hotels here, because of the remoteness and where they are located. So this property here is called Kugana Island Lodge. It is the property that is located in one of the most iconic permanent water-based sites in the entire Okavango Delta. Very funny enough, I typed something like that on Copilot and ChatGPT. They came back and say the most iconic place in the Okavango Delta is in front of Kugana Island Lodge, which is that. It's lovely to see that AI is also recognizing that. And imagine you are taking your clients, your travelers to that place. It's really a game changer. Now, these two hotels located there, they really promise your travelers an authentic water-based experience, because the only activities that we do in these concessions here are the water-based activities. That is your mokoro or traditional canoe, the boating safaris. There's a lot of fishing for those that love fishing as well, and many other water-based activities. I'll come to the nitty-gritties of the camp of the hotel as soon as I finish the regions. But a quick unique selling point there is that it provides your travelers with an exclusive safari experience. The possibility of seeing any other guests is even 0.1, because you can see what an activity, maybe guests that are staying in the same lodge, but because it's in private concessions, you really do not bump into anyone else in that place there. The only thing you see flying up is these small light aircrafts. After every 5-6 minutes, they are exchanging routine. It's quite iconic. Right, the region, which is the last one in the Okavango Delta, is in the Panhandle, like I said, up there. It's located in between two heritage sites, that is the Okavango Delta, and we have our Likli hills in Botswana. Botswana is quite a flat land, a flat country, but to just see, some hills popping out of the flat land called the Tsodilo Hills is quite very iconic, because it's not common in Botswana that we get mountains. We actually do not have mountains. We only have hills. So this is one of the hills that you see. This is actually the highest peak in Botswana. So the property is located right here. The hotel is right here in the heart of the Panhandle. And that is where the Tsodilo Hills are, where we do some activities there. Right. Now, going to the last region is in the Buteti River Valley. The Buteti River Valley, the river is called Buteti, and it takes its water right from the Okavango here. So the water flows depending on the tectonic shifts. There's quite a mystery about the water of the Okavango Delta. And then if it happens that the tectonic movements of plates in Botswana shift towards what we call the Tamalakane fault line, which is right here in Maun where I am, you will get more water coming all the way down to the Buteti River Valley here. Long time ago, what you see right here is called the salt pans. It used to be a great lake long time ago. This is where the water from the delta used to arrive here. But then if the shift of the tectonic plates shifts towards what we call the Shakawe fault line, somewhere up towards the Namaseri Island Lodge there, then the water only ends somewhere in Moremi and never arrives in Maun sometimes. It's quite a mystery. It's lovely. Great. Now, the Buteti River Valley's USP, what's special about the Buteti River Valley is that it houses, or it is the home of the second largest migration of zebras in Africa. I know you know of the Masai Mara, which you get a lot of zebras there. We have our secret migration. We like to call it the secret migration in Botswana because no one else knows about it. You get about 20 to 25,000 zebras into that area. And to get such a big number outside the East Africa migration is really lovely. It's really great. And then it also promises you another exclusive sighting of zebras in that particular place. So this is the river here, which it dries and then it flows sometimes. But the more it's drier, the better, because this place called the Makadikadi Pens National Park and the Ngai Pens is quite really dry. This is mostly your desert kind of like environment or ecosystem. The only water source that you find on the entire region there, it is the Buteti River. So the reason why there's quite a lot of wildlife and zebras that are coming there is that when I go back to this map here, the national park is quite very dense. And I mean, it's not dense. There's quite only shrubs, and it is the survival of the fittest. There's not a lot of food there. And on the western side of the pens there, of the park is the salt pens where it's flat. You will see shortly, there's nothing. So they are only forced to come to the Buteti River Valley. They spend 6 months. Remember, when they come, these zebras, they come with wildebeest and then cats and many other general wildlife. So 6 months of the year, they spend right here from June, mid-June, when it's getting dry, all the way up to the end of October. They spend in thousands and thousands of numbers in the Buteti River Valley. And when the first rain starts coming in, they migrate because they think there's food out there, they think there's water out there, and they realize, yes, there's food, there's water. They migrate. Some of them, they go all the way out of Botswana to Zimbabwe. Some go to Chobe, Mababi Depression, Savute, to the Okavango Delta, and some make it to Namibia. But another lovely mysterious thing about these zebras in thousands of numbers is that just after the rain seasons there in beginning of March, they start migrating and they make their way back to the Buteti River Valley, where they spend another 6 months of the year. And most of the times you don't even need to drive into the park. We have a hide in that lodge, in that hotel, where you can go in and see these zebras at the comfort of your stay at the lodge. So that is the unique selling point of that region. Okay, and now I'm going to spend the last couple of minutes from my presentation just now, showing you the unique selling points of our properties. I just wanted to ask if there is any question or anyone who wants to clear some gray areas regarding the regions themselves. I wanted you to appreciate first the regions. Hi, Daniel. Sorry, I didn't hear that. Okay, I think we lost him. Anyway, all right. Now, coming back to the hotels themselves, we are a circuit-driven lodge operator, which operates 10 properties in the northern Botswana. That is the unique selling point of Desert and Delta Safaris as a lodge or hotel operator in Botswana. Because, like I said, Botswana is a multi-regional destination. Now, when your travelers or when a client say we want to go to Botswana and we go to maybe 3 different lodges, remember I said we operate 10 properties in 7 prime wildlife destinations in Botswana out of like 8 or 9. So if your travelers say we want to go to 3 different hotels, we want to go to Chobe because we want to tick the elephant box, and then we are people really who want to see a lot of wildlife, and then we say great, Savute, and then they say we want to take it easy, and then we have a water-based experience in the Okavango Delta. Now the beauty of Desert and Delta Safaris, which is really amazing for all of our partners, that's how they love working with us, is that we, as circuit driven as we are, we sort of have properties in all the catchment regions in Botswana where wildlife or safari is properly done in Botswana. Talk of your Chobe, of your Savute, and the entire Okavango Delta. You can book them on a Botswana safari with only one company, which is lovely. Like personally, when I travel, I like to make my bookings with one company, and then they sort of like disperse and they do things for me, and they give me an itinerary. You don't want to have the stress of having to book the train with someone else, and then you book this and that, blah blah blah. It's just only in-house. This is the stronghold of Desert and Delta Safaris, because we, remember again, we own our own aircraft. So as soon as we take the booking and the client say they want to travel to Botswana for 8 nights, you do not have to worry. They don't have to worry about where we are going to go, because our team, our consultants, they are quite very well vexed with the product. So they will tell you the combination part of it. And then again, another game changer about Desert and Delta Safaris is that all the 10 properties, all the 10 hotels, they are common rated, meaning they have only one rate. So you won't have the stress of having to book 3 hotels with 3 different rates or different prices. You add this, you add that. No. Our packaging is such that you have only one rate, which is fully inclusive. So that rate is fully inclusive of the flights, right from the Maun International Airport to all the other lodges that you're going to stay or hotels you're going to stay at until you're back, all the accommodation there, all the activities when you're there, all the meals when they're there, when beverages and laundry. So absolutely everything is fully inclusive on that particular rate. It's an easy book. It's just an easy way of doing a booking or a quotation. There is no stress, anything whatsoever. Great. Now, these lodges, I'm just going to take the last couple of minutes left just to show you the differences when it comes to the lodges themselves. Chobe Game Lodge is the only lodge inside the Chobe National Park, the Chobe Riverfront, and it boasts 44 standard rooms, and these standard rooms, they're quite very different. We have single rooms, interleading rooms, family suites, as well as honeymoon suites. And by the way, talking about children's policy, we take children from the age of 6 years and above from all properties or from all hotels except in Chobe Game Lodge and Chobe Savannah in the Chobe region. These two, we take children of all ages, so they are family friendly or children friendly. Really lovely, stunning contemporary rooms. They are really amazing. One of the Chobe's favorites, really, a lot of people's favorites when they arrive in Chobe. And the fact that you are in a lodge which is the only inside the Chobe National Park, again, like in the Okavango Delta, there is that exclusivity when it comes to activities inside the Chobe National Park. These are an example of the family suites as well. So if you have families who just come in and they just want to have their separate time as family, they just check into this suite. They have their own plunge pool, their own dining little corner there, but then it doesn't stop them from, having meals in any of the dining areas. This is one of the iconic Eastern Deck, which has a live webcam that you can see all the wildlife movement that is happening on the floodplains of the Chobe riverfront there. We have about 9 different dining sites there. So if you have your travelers, they're coming in for 2 nights, they can have almost, their meals, all of their meals in like different locations. And it seems like they are in a different lodge, different hotel every now and then. It really provides that nice little touch to their dining experience. The first lodge in Africa to launch an all-electric fleet of boats, which are power solar. This lodge this hotel is actually a leader in the ecotourism in Africa and in Botswana. We do not pollute the water there. And you can imagine how close you can come to wildlife, especially the gently giants, the ellis. When you are sailing through there, they don't hear you. They just see this big thing, that is floating every day. And they're like, okay, it's them, it's our friends. And you can really come up close. If you have photographers, they get very good quality photographs from that scenery. Again, the first lodge in Africa to launch part of our fleet as electric vehicles. And we are still very proud to be pioneers and still consistently improving in terms of sustainable tourism in Botswana. I feel like we have been doing everything as the first and the first. We're the first lodge in Africa, again, to have an all-female guides team. Other hotels, we have like a combination, but here is only female since 2010. So we are quite very proud of that as well. And this is really to support our vision as the company to empower Botswana and empower women through tourism. So that would be Chobe Game Lodge. And then the Savute Safari Lodge, it offers quite a very unique and different feel altogether because it's dry there. There's no permanent water source in that place, but that is your hotel room for the night. It's quite really lovely and quite rustic, and it's really different from Chobe. Even the feel and the look of the rooms, they are quite very, 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 very different. And these going back to Chobe Game Lodge, we have air cons and fans in Chobe Game Lodge. However, when you come to the rest of the other hotels, we only have ceiling fans and freestanding fans, as you can see here. But then someone would say, isn't it hot? Yes, of course it's hot in Botswana. But if you can see these roofs, they are quite very high to allow for more ventilation. And then there's an opening with the mesh there to allow anything, not to allow anything to come in. And the big windows, which are open, and there's a lot of natural light and fresh breeze that comes through every now and then. Photographic height as well, and Savute for the wildlife coming into the water holes there, and some of the photographs of the main area, the swimming pool in the lodge. Right, and here we only have 12 rooms, including a family room. We have a family room as well. And then going down to, I'll skip Sidiba for now, Camp Moremi and Camp Kakanika. They are located just next to each other, but because of how prime the region is, we have 2 properties there, and they are almost always full the rest of the year. And then these 2 properties, they are quite very different as well. I'll start with Camp Moremi, which has thatch, roof, but there's very big rooms as well, lots of natural light coming in, and a different style of deco on the inside and outside. And these rooms and all the public working areas areas and the bombers, they are located up tree level because of the water level is higher. So you are sort of like walking in the Amazon, but then walking on top of trees there because there's water everywhere below the trees. That is Moremi. When the floods come in super well, you are in a little island and you are enjoying the beach style in the middle of the bush in the Okavango Delta. And then Kakanika is a lovely, a complete opposite, which communicates more to travelers who say, I want the original or traditional rustic safari where going to a traditional classic tent and I want to hear the noise of the birds, of the monkeys that are jumping on top of the tents and all that. So this is your original classic safari. There are travelers who don't really want to come and have a lot of comfort. They want to be up the whole night. And then, yes, we have Camp Kakanika, which provides that kind of rusticness in the Moremi Game Reserve. Right, lovely birds. One of the resident, the Pels fishing owls. Not very easy to find in Botswana. Our guests are lucky to really find them there during the time in season when they are there. Righty, and then these two properties here, they are also these two hotels here. Ghana and Camp Okavango, they are also in the same region, the same area, but because of the richness of the water-based activities in the concessions, we have two hotels there that provide same activities, which are Mokoro, your boat safaris, your guided bushwalks, your fishing, and helicopter scenic flights, as well as small little additions, you know, to your experience. A lot of birding, fishing, like I said, guided bushing, walking, boat cruising, and the people's favorite, the Mokoro canoeing, is done in these two hotels in the Okavango Delta. And the difference also is quite the same as well. This one offers quite a very different feel of the lodge in the Okavango Delta, and also features a slip out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of under the African skies. In East Africa, they like to call them sky beds, but in Botswana we call them the slip out decks. It's classic, completely complimentary. When you're booking a minimum of 3 nights there, you go and enjoy the night with your one other there. And then with Kugana Island Lodge, just adjacent to the same concession, also features quite very different style of the hotel rooms, and everything is really different. 2 showers, 1 outside, 1 inside, and the fire pit, which is sort of in the middle of the lagoon. And the only noise in the evening after an activity, having had a shower and sipping a gin and tonic, is the noise of the frogs and the hippos on the lagoon. And when you look up there, you see stars you have never seen in your life. That's the kind of life that our guests, they get exposed to when they check into Kugana Island Lodge. Classic, very different settings of the main area as well. Like I said, it's located in one of the most iconic locations in the entire Okavango Delta. And then the last property would be the Namaseri Island Lodge, which used to be a fishing camp. One of the highest concentration of fish in Botswana, they are found in this area. And outside the Okavango Delta, there's a lot of fishing that happens in that area or in that region as well. You specifically get bookings coming in for fishing. You either release and catch or release and go and give the chef back at the hotel for an evening relish. Outside the fishing, there is also the normal boating safari or boat cruises. And then 2/3 of bird life species that are found in Botswana, they are found in this area here. We are very lucky to get most of the migratory birds, and this is the carmine bee eater, one of the most decorated bird life species found in the Okavango Delta. I mean, in Botswana, they are found in this area. And it's many of them. It's not only this. There's quite a lot. Quite a lot. And then just to show you the lodge itself, the hotel itself, it's located somewhere here under the canopy of these trees. And this is the main Okavango River channel coming from Angola, and the main area there. And what happens, especially when you get here, this place is not a big game area. You won't see a lot of elephants, a lot of cats. It's only aquatic wildlife, and the concentration really is, you know, in relaxation when you get there, because of the deck that we have built there for your travelers who are big in yoga. They can do yogas. All the rooms have yoga mats, and then they do yoga, you know, under the jackalberry trees with bird song music. And also the spa. There's a spa there where you get a little bit of relaxation after a 6, 7, 8 nights intense travel on safari. Who knows, maybe in Botswana, South Africa, and even the East Africa. So it provides that nice relaxation element for our travelers. And of course, the Lerula Tau in the Buteti River Valley is also quite very different in terms of how it's built as well. There's a lot of bluish color that you can see, and a lot of traditional elements there, because it's located near a village, and we are getting a lot of the interiors from the village. From a social corporate responsibility perspective, we buy there and then we come and decorate there. So it's that extension. So the bluish color there is because of the blue Botswana skies. You know, Botswana always have these nice blue skies because there's not a lot of rains. So that element of, you know, walking into your room, you see this bluish color, and then when you go out to the balcony, all you see is, you know, the blue skies up there. So that nice blend when you go out and in, it really you know, it really blends nicely to the eyes of travelers. And all of our rooms, they're facing the Buteti River because of the view of the zebras and the ellies in that area. Right. So from a region perspective, from a hotel perspective, and the access, I mean, and the combination, this is Desert and Delta Safaris. I just wanted to take you through this last slide here so that you can understand the seasonality in Botswana. And that is, we have 3 different seasons under Desert and Delta Safaris. The first one is green season, the second is shoulder, and then the last is the peak season. The green season is sort of self-explanatory because it's quite really green. It is almost this time of the year, which is December, January, February, and March. And it has already started raining. It's lovely, it's nice and very lush and green. There's a lot of migratory birds even coming to Maung where I'm seated. It's lovely during that time because that is the calving season. At the moment, a lot of wildlife, they are quite pregnant, and then come December, they drop some calves, and there's a lot of babies of everything. So think about it, the cats, they don't really have to run too much. They just catch baby impala for breakfast, and then for lunch they decide whether they want a kudu or they want something else. It's lovely. It's normal on safari. And then the shoulder season is April and November. That is where you get warm temperatures and cool evenings, and it's still green, but it's changing a bit. And then the peak season is May to October, which is a season that is consisting of a bit of summer and a bit of winter. For us, the winter would be your June, July, and a bit of August there, and then September, October being hot, and October being the hottest month, or extremely hot, hottest month in Botswana. But however, it's not green here. You can spot wildlife from afar, and the wildlife, they depend on the few water sources that can be found in that particular region, and you really get some lovely time with wildlife in that area. Like I said, we do our lodge-to-lodge transfers with Safari Air, right from the two airports, Maung International Airport and Kasane International Airport. So we do our own transfers. Remember, in Botswana, we do what we call fly-in safaris because of the remoteness of the lodges or hotels that are in the northern Botswana. So we do fly in with our own aircrafts, and all the timings are right here. It's about 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes. So when you get into the aircraft from here, there's possibility that you have 2 stops because you are dropping or picking other guests from another hotel to the hotel that you are coming from or to that you are going to. Right. Over to you, Alicia and Danielle. If there's anything else, you let me know if I need to touch a little bit on the rates. Otherwise, over to you for now.
Yes, I received everything about your.
Hello?
Nós não estamos te escutando, Dani.
Hello, hello.
É, o seu
Tá
microfone.
bem baixo.
Hello, hello.
Bem baixo.
A gente consegue te escutar, mas bem, bem lá longe, baixinho.
Agora.
Baixo ainda, Dani. No, I will thank you on behalf of Danielle, Blessing,
Can
for the
I ask a
presentation.
question before
Yes.
the end? Hi, Blessing. First of
Hello.
all, you have a great name.
Thank you. I appreciate Claudia.
Yeah. I have a little question here because
Ô,
you
Dani.
said
Dani, para de compartilhar a tela.
Fabiana, a gente está te escutando.
Ah, ok, sorry.
because you said that only the 2 lodges at the Chobe area that have air conditioning, right? The others have only fans.
So they are within all the 10 hotels. We only have one which has air
Only
conditioning.
the Chobe Game Lodge.
Yes, only
Only
Chobe
the
Game
Chobe.
Lodge. Yes, the rest
Okay.
of them, they have overhead ceiling fans and freestanding fans.
Okay, I was there, Claudia. I did this in February, quite warm period, and it is warm. However, when we are on the rooms, it's normally end of the day, so there was absolutely no issue of being too warm or any problems like that to be in the room. It was actually quite nice. Of course, Chobe was it's much better as a hotel, but the other lodges are amazing as well, and it's not too warm. It's not too warm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even in September and October, Blessing, is it comfortable in the evening?
Yeah, well, exactly what Fabiano said. You know, Botswana is one of the hottest places in Africa, but because we get cooler evenings, it really gets cool in the evenings, and with the way rooms are built with enough ventilation coming in, you almost do not really feel the extreme hotness of the place. Again, there's 2 different fans there, and one thing I wanted to just highlight is that most of the lodges, they are located in front of the water sources. Like, for example, the Kwai one and all the Okavango Delta ones, they are in front of the floodplains or the lagoon. So you can imagine as it gets cooler, though it's hot somewhere else, but as it gets cooler, that nice fresh breeze comes through and blows through the rooms as well. And you don't really automatically feel that extreme heatness. But of course, you still feel the heat a little bit because Botswana is one of the hottest places. But it's lovely. You're on safari. You saw everything. You're quite excited. Before you know it, you dozed off. You wake up in the morning for another adventure.
Okay. And regarding the wet areas, right? The water-based activity areas. Do they have a lot of bugs? Because this is something the clients ask.
I will answer that because of
Fabiano.
experience. I was surprised that there's not that many. Really surprised. They offer like repellents. They have it. I took it, but I thought there would be much more on the boats and things like that. Of course, when you are in, let's say, 6 o'clock, pôr do sol, sunset and things like that, you have a little bit more, but it's not the bugs that we have here. Like, can I speak in Portuguese? Sorry for.
No worries. Remember, I now understand Portuguese, Fabiano.
Ok, mas não é igual Ilhabela, que tem aqueles mosquitos desgraçados que fica picando pra caramba.
Aquele grandão,
São,
né?
são aquelas moscas que parecem mariposa, coisa assim, que fica voando. Então, ele enche o saco, mas não pica.
Tá.
Tá, então assim,
Sim.
aqueles de picar pernilonguinho são poucos, mas eu não sei explicar em inglês. Sorry, Blessing, to explain it.
He was saying that the ones that bite are not that many. They only disturb a little bit, but they don't bite.
Yeah. Especially when you are in the main areas, maybe because you're having dinner, it's lit, they come for light. But in the rooms, there is gauze. Gauze, they are sort of like mosquitoes. So you're ready when housekeeping are doing turn down services, they come and do a spray around the room, and then they turn down and close all these. There's often not bugs in the rooms, but outside there, they can be there here and there. But like Fabiano said, they don't bite most of the times. They just irritate here and there, like when they come in and yeah. So
okay, thanks.
Okay.
Anyone has another question or Gabriel? Tá ligado o seu?
Eu não tô em reunião nenhuma.
Ok. Pode falar. Né? Daniel is telling me to say goodbye to everyone. So looking at him here, he's making gestures. I was like, yeah, go ahead. And he's like, no, please.
His microphone
no one can
is
hear
not
me.
working. His mic is broken. I told him. I guess.
So thank you, Blessing. Thank you so much. We are waiting for you back in Brazil with a soccer game for sure. Again. And and we hope to send some clients over. It's a beautiful country, very nice properties. Anyone that have questions, I'm here. I experienced it, so please text me or give me a call if the team needs anything. Thanks so much. We are finishing here, and Lígia, thanks to be here.
Love it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted also to say really thank you very much from Destined Out Safaris. I know you have been pushing us so very strong and very well. And just to break the news, Brazil just broke the record because you have hit the bed nights we have set for just 1 year. So I say to Lígia and the team, well done. Brazil is pumping. Thank you so much for your partnership, and see you next year during the Hip Hotels Roadshow.
Sure.
See you.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.